ideal goal for retiring?
We've got some answers coming in, Gisella. We have from Lorraine, 2 million, Trey, 1.5 million, Greg, he's ambitious, 10 million, nice. Claria, 1 million, Cara, 1 billion, 1 billion from Cara, 1 billion.
Well, according to money.cnn, the typical rule of thumb is that you need on average 8 times your annual income saved for retirement to live comfortably after you retire. That means if you're earning on average 70K a year, you should have saved at least 560K by age 65. So all those going for the 1.5 billion, you're on your way there. We know from experience, most people do retire at age 65 and they live to a ripe old age of 80. So will this 560K be enough? So those that are ambitious, that going to the 1 million, you'll be there. So the key question to think about is, will you run out of money? It is clear from, actually, it is known that they did a survey and revealed that Canadians, up to when they get to age 65, they have saved up to only 180K. So it is clear from the data that people do not have enough money saved for their retirement. Which brings me to my topic today. What essentially is financial planning, and what does it mean to have a financial plan? A financial plan is like having a blueprint. It's a guide or description of where you want to go, what are the things that you need to achieve, what you need to put in place in order for you to get there. There are 6 pillars of financial planning: maximizing your business success, managing cash flow, sharing your wealth, preparing for the unexpected, optimizing your retirement, and planning for major expenditures. Today, I will discuss savings and retirement planning, estate planning, and insurance planning. The majority of business owners here, if not all, will be applying for the FACE loan. Think of a financial plan this way: the implementation, execution of how you are going to use that money to grow and scale your business. A solid and robust financial plan will take into consideration a few key things. The 3 main questions you as a business owner will ask are: do I have enough money saved for retirement? What will happen to my estate after I pass away? And how do I manage the risk against unexpected events? Savings and retirement. Most of us have heard the expressions, you have to save for a rainy day, or you should pay yourself first. The purpose of saving and investing is simple. You want to accumulate enough money to achieve a financial goal. For example, as a business owner, you could be saving for an expensive piece of equipment, or you could be saving for a house, or you may also have a family and you will want to save up for your kids' education or your daughter's wedding, not to mention taking the family on annual vacation trips. In short, there are many things that will be competing with what amounts to save, what investment vehicle should you use, the timing or when you will be needing those funds. Take, for example, saving for a piece of equipment. Depending on the cost, you may want to use a strategy of taking a loan and saving towards that goal of purchasing the equipment. You will sit down with your accountant. I know a great accountant, Lorraine Telesford, and look at your cash flow. Based on income and expense actuals and projections, you will determine how much you can afford to save towards this goal. Your financial planner or coach like myself, based on the amount needed in the future and the target date, will select the most appropriate funds and the amount. This process might look a little different for your retirement goals. You will ask yourself, what will my retirement paycheck look like? What will be my expenses in retirement and the different sources of income? The purpose of having a financial plan is to develop a long-term focus and strategy and to stay on that trajectory. You will not be deterred by the neighbors and friends calling you and telling you of the latest fad or the grass is greener on the other side ideas. You and your financial planner will work together to develop a plan to determine how much you need to save in order to have the kind of retirement you want, how much you will spend during retirement. The premise is probably you won't have a mortgage or a car loan in retirement. However, you may have other expenses. Do you think you will spend more or less in retirement? These are all the considerations that you have to consider. It is said, they did a survey, and it is said on average, retired Canadians, excuse me, are spending approximately $2,400 a month. So, I mean, you still need to spend a little to live off when you retire. You will also be thinking what your retirement paycheck will look like. What are the different and various sources of income from your CPP, old age security, your pension, RSPs, TFSAs, etc. It is important to note that the earlier you start saving for your retirement, the better. Don't put off investing until you have more money. A small amount invested wisely can have a significant impact as it compounds over time. Let's have a look at estate planning. It can be quite daunting and overwhelming managing the day-to-day operations of running your business. Initially, you would have started off with small loans from family and friends and your own money, nothing like having your own skin in the game, deciding when to incorporate, formalizing your business plan. Errol can assist in that regard. Building a great website. Kara is an excellent web designer. Essentially doing all you can to get the business up and running to make a profit. During this time of expansion and growth, you must be mindful of having a plan in place for when you are no longer there. Like the expression goes, there is nothing as certain as death and taxes. Your financial planner or coach like myself will help you address the questions of who will run the family business and how will your spouse and children be looked after when you're gone. Purchasing whole life insurance is one way to do this. Also, having a will with specific instructions as to how the money will be distributed will give you a peace of mind that your family will be well taken care of when you are not there. Can I have a show of hands and wave? Give me a wave if you have a will. Does any of the business owners have a will? Nice, nice. Yes, I see a few hands going up. Actually, that's good because they did a survey, CIBC did a survey, and it revealed that most Canadians, in fact, do not have a will. Okay, actually, it's only 50%, 51% of Canadians do not have a will. And of the Canadians who do have a will, only 25% reported that the will is up to date. So, those of you that don't have a will as yet, you can contact a lawyer and have a say in how your family will be taken care of. Let's go on to insurance planning. As part of your insurance plan, one of the most important components to remember is insurance. We have heard and probably said most of the objections around insurance. Nah, we don't need insurance. We have enough insurance. I have insurance through my work. In the case of critical insurance, most people say, I'm young and healthy. It won't happen to me. Many people do not take the necessary precautions to insure themselves, and it could end up costing them a substantial amount of money. The primary need to buy insurance is to transfer the risk. What you're basically doing is transferring the financial risk from yourself to an insurance company, and who wouldn't want that? Another purpose is to protect your family and loved ones. If you have a family, you will want to buy insurance products that can protect them if you are unable to do so. This is the ultimate purpose of life insurance. When you die, life insurance will provide your beneficiaries with a lump sum of money tax-free. Yes, you heard that, tax-free. This money can be used to replace your current income and to help pay off any outstanding debts that you may have left behind. I've heard colleagues of mine say how good they feel when they deliver that check to a beneficiary when a loved one passes away. In my client base, luckily, no one has passed away, knock on wood. It could be a very sad time, but then you get that warm feeling when you get to deliver that check. Without insurance, your family may have serious financial problems after you are gone. We all love our families and wouldn't want them to face unnecessary hardships after we are gone, right? Another reason for life insurance is that it can create generational wealth. I have a question for you guys. Can anyone guess how much Ted Rogers of Rogers Communications had in insurance? You can put your answer in the chat. How much insurance did Ted Rogers have? Anybody can hazard a guess?
We have the answers. Let's see. We have Rose with 1 billion. We have 5 million from Claria. Let's see. We have 500 million from Earl.
Nice. Actually, he had $102 million worth of insurance. That's a whole heap of money, guys. And he actually had 12 life insurance policies. And he was worth $5.7 billion. So Ted understood the value of insurance. Business owners, this is what we have to do to transfer wealth from one generation to the next and build up our communities and build up our families. So here it is. You heard it from me. Whole life insurance is definitely the way to go. How many of you have at least one type of business insurance? You can raise your hand or you can drop the answer in the chat. Good. How many of you have several types of business insurance? Good. Yes, as a business owner, you also need several types of insurance if you want to live a comfortable financial existence. Let us use an example to illustrate this. Meet Darren. Darren is a computer engineer. He lives in the GTA and owns his own business, Jiggle Systems, Inc., which he has operated for the past 17 years. His company designs some of the fastest processors in the market. He is very successful and he has an annual income of over 400K. He also has investments and properties worth 3.5 million. So Darren is successful, he's doing great. He has a loan of about 250K with the bank. It seems like Darren got that face loan. The company is viable with 4 employees. One of the employees, Melanie, is also a key employee. She's the senior sales associate and she's been with the company for over 15 years and she single-handedly drives the sales for the business. Darren's wife stays at home to take care of the kids, who are all grown up now. They're 18 and 21 and attend university. One of them is interested in taking over the business. The other one wants to be a musician, so he has no interest at all in the business. One day, on his way home from work, Darren gets into a serious car accident and is now in the hospital. What are the key issues facing the company now that Darren is in the hospital? Some of the key issues will be all payments to vendors need a signature. He is the business. His clients could lose confidence in the business, which could lead to loss of revenue. Will the employees be loyal and wait it out, or will they leave? Will the bank call the loan? And what about other creditors? What strategies have been put in place for business continuance? As you can see, there will be a significant loss of revenue. Darren was quite sick as a result of the accident and spent an extended period of time in the hospital. As a result, he was not able to go back to the office and do what he does best, which was design processes. However, Darren, being the astute businessman that he was, had purchased disability insurance. With disability insurance, he will be entitled to receive a monthly income. Yes, in effect, having disability insurance will help protect his income and pay for personal expenses. He could use it for physiotherapy, etc., to get back on his feet and run his business. He also had business overhead insurance, or as I like to call it, keeping the lights on insurance. This will cover payments like the rent, pay his staff, and utilities. So these are expenses relating to the day-to-day business functions. While Darren is laid up in the hospital, they ran some additional tests and discovers that he has cancer. Oh boy, that Darren just can't get a break. If Darren has critical illness insurance, and survives after 30 days of being diagnosed, he will receive a lump sum of money. He could use this to pay for medication or whatever is needed while he recovers and receives the best care possible to get better. Needless to say, Darren is resilient and makes an amazing full recovery. Those insurances that I mentioned earlier, these are called living benefits, as the money is paid directly to you whilst you are alive. Because most people say, oh, I don't like to take insurance, it's going to somebody else. These benefits will be paid directly to you. Keeping in mind the same example above, what happens to the company if Darren passes away? Would the business be able to survive if the owner or key person in the organization is no longer there? As we can see from the graph, sales are adversely impacted, it's down 60%. Employees may leave, they may think that the business is going out of business and they may go somewhere else. And the very survival rate of the company is clearly at risk. Having corporate-owned life insurance can be especially vital for a business owner. Small businesses, like most of us here, pose their own unique challenges. Whether you're a sole proprietor, a limited company, or a partnership, structuring your business so that it can continue, whether you become disabled, retire, or sell it, requires you to take the time to address what you want to happen if these things occur. Don't leave this to chance. You worked hard, you invested in your business, you work hard to build and grow your business. Don't leave this to chance. Take matters into your own hands. As your business grows, so does the value of your corporate-owned life insurance provides a tax-efficient financial risk management strategy that grows as your business grows. The tax-free benefit paid in the event of the untimely passing of the owner could be used to mitigate the unique costs associated with growing a business. What are the advantages of corporate-owned life insurance? One of the main advantages is that it protects the company against losing a key person. A company's success may sometimes be based on the presence of a few key people. One might be the founder or a partner. In this example, it's Darren, founder and owner, company computer expert, especially great at what he does. And he's well ahead of the curve, making some of the fastest processes in Ontario. It could be a key resource who does not necessarily have equity or ownership in the company. In this scenario, it is Melanie, the senior sales associate. She's the one driving the sales in the company. If either of them were to die unexpectedly, corporate-owned life insurance could offer the company a temporary financial cushion, providing enough time to find a new key employee of the same caliber. In other words, the company purchases the life insurance policy, pays the premiums, and if something happens to the key person, the company receives the benefit, which it can then use to find a new key employee. Corporate insurance ensures the survival of the company and the brand. In the event that Darren were to die, the very survival of the company could be at stake. Customers might worry about continued access to the products or services they will continue to receive, whether they will receive the same quality and access to the brand. Boss ladies, as we know, it's all about the brand, right? Creditors might also become nervous about the possibility of defaulted payments. The company has a $250,000 loan. Life insurance could provide a source of cash to tide the company over while it goes ahead with a plan to assure both customers and creditors alike. Furthermore, if the death leads to bankruptcy, it is good to know that an insurance policy, unlike other assets, generally cannot be seized by creditors. Having corporate-owned life insurance can be used to obtain financing. From an operational standpoint, life insurance could also help a business owner obtain the financing needed for business development by providing creditors with a guarantee that they would be repaid in the event of the business owner's death. At the end of the day, business owners, this is why we are here in the BATES program, to obtain funding from the government initiative. Let us show that we are ready. Be proactive. Like our President Nadine says, there is no such thing as luck. It's preparation meets opportunity. In other words, a life insurance policy may be used as collateral to secure the loan. That means it can help secure one of the 5 C's of credit off the bat to obtain the financing that you need. It can also help you cover the tax bill. The tax bill, some might be wondering, what is that? What is the tax bill? When a business owner dies, just as everyone else, he or she is deemed to have disposed of all assets, and the estate must pay the associated taxes. Once again, CRA is there knocking on the door, wanting a piece of the action. These assets include the fair market value of the company, and a percentage of the capital gain of the company would be taxable. Life insurance could be used to pay this tax bill. What will be your tax bill as a business owner? Note that the deceased property may be rolled over tax-free to a surviving spouse, but not to children. As such, having corporate-owned life insurance is a tax-efficient solution. The benefits paid by an insurance policy is not taxable. CRA does not have a say when it comes to life insurance. This might lead to other investment strategies, especially if the owner has maxed out his registered plans like RSPs, TFSA, and RESP, and he has additional capital to invest. Having corporate-owned life insurance could be used to divide the bequest fairly among the heirs. It sometimes happens, as in this scenario, that the business owner's children are involved in the business, but not necessarily all the children. I mentioned previously that one of Darren's sons would like to be more involved in the business. and the other one wants to be a musician. He has absolutely no interest at all in the business. So how do you divide this fairly and equally? The capital provided by life insurance could help to balance the estate between the son who is interested in taking the business further and the other son who isn't. It also provides the estate with an exit strategy. Business owners usually have an exit strategy for themselves, which may include selling the business to investors or retirement strategies. Life insurance, here again, could be used as an exit strategy for the business owner's heirs, like his spouse and children, if Darren passes away prematurely. By providing capital at death, life insurance could allow any business partners to buy back shares left to the business owner's heirs. This is called a buy-sell strategy. Also, it could be used as a charitable giving strategy. Life insurance can be used in several ways to support an individual's charitable giving strategy as retirement approaches. For example, you could make a gift of an existing life insurance policy to your favorite charity. Some of us might want to leave a legacy and give back to the community. This is an excellent way to do this. I would like to reiterate that small businesses do pose their own unique challenges. So whether you're a sole proprietor, a limited company, or a partnership, think about how you structure your business so that it can continue whether you become disabled, retire, or decide to sell it. Take the time to address what you want to happen if these things occur. Think about how you want to be remembered by your family and community members. What will be your legacy? Having corporate-owned life insurance will alleviate some of those concerns and help mitigate the uncertainty. It gives you the peace of mind that your business will continue to operate when you are not there. As you have seen, life insurance, which is owned by the company, has several important uses and should be an integral part of your financial plan. You know what they say, there is no time like the present. The time is now. When is the best time to start a financial plan? Right now. When is the best time to start saving? Right now. It's never too late to start saving. When is the best time to buy insurance? Now, when you are healthy. Remember, it's cheaper to buy 10 years earlier than 1 minute too late. Today, I've touched on this topic very, very briefly. If you want to know more about financial planning that suits your specific needs, give me a call and we will discuss your needs and goals. Also, looking at the corporate-owned life insurance and its unique challenges, give me a call and we will discuss your specific challenges and your specific goals. I'm also part of the EFFECT team, Advisors for Entrepreneurs of Color. We're a team of 4 professionals who are highly skilled and knowledgeable in our respective fields. We have Errol, who does the business plans, myself, financial planning, Kara, web design, and Lorraine, accounting and bookkeeping. We came together because we're passionate about what we do, which is basically helping business owners in the community. And we also host seminars on the first Thursday of every month. So we would love to see you at our next seminar in the first Thursday in August. This concludes my presentation. You can give me a call at 647-286-3310 to discuss your unique financial planning needs. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gisella. Thank you for sharing all this information with us. I have been taking copious notes, and some things that stood out with what you shared today is now The time is now. The best time to start a financial strategy is now. The best time to start a financial plan is now. The best time to start saving is now. So, question, what is the best approach for a business owner to actually get into starting their financial strategy? What's the first step you would recommend they take? And if you have any questions, drop them in chat. We'll get them to Gisella.
Yes, the first step that they should take, they will look at their business, they look at their goals. They would have done that through the business planning process. And with that, they will decide where it is that they want to be. You know, they'll be growing, they'll be scaling up, how much it is that they want to save. And they will also look at protecting the business. As we saw with the Darren example, protecting your income is important, because you're doing all those things, you're scaling up, you're growing, and something happens, then your income is taken away from you. What do you do? So you have to look at it like I say, look at it holistically. So it's not just one thing, but then you look at different aspects in order to see where that will put your business, what will place your business at risk, and take care of those things from the onset. And don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it, for later on down the line. When you're setting up your business, these are the things to take into consideration from the get-go.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. Now, if there are any questions, let's drop them in chat. Here we go. We have a question here from, let me make sure I've got it correctly. There's a question from Trey Armstrong. Are there any financial planning templates out there that small business owners can access for plug and play purposes?
Pardon, what is that? Say that again.
Are there any financial planning templates out there for small business owners that they can access for plug and play purposes?
I see. Would that be specifically for softwares?
Yeah, I think it's probably just templates. Maybe maybe we can bring Trey up.
Yes. Yeah, so at IG, we do use templates, and we also use a living plan software. I'm not too familiar with any other probably free softwares out there, but I know for sure there's NaviPlan. I think that's something you have to pay for as well. And there's also Conquest Plan. So these are planning softwares that you can use as a business owner to see where you're going and exactly what it is you want to get there. A lot of these plans require you to be licensed, or it requires you to pay for those plans. So if that's something that you want to do as a business owner, but my advice would be to always speak with someone, so also at IG, we have access to a wealth of professionals. So we have, insurance planning, we have wealth planning. We also have an advanced tax planning team. Right? So it's always good to go out to the professionals and hear what it is. They've seen many examples of what business owners have done. So they would be able to give you that best advice of what to do going forward for your own business.
Perfect. Thank you, Gisella. There you go, Trey. It's best to not go it alone. Make sure you plug in with the financial advisor. We do have another question from Claria, and that is, can you elaborate on critical illness? How does it work, and how and when are payments triggered? Okay, so critical illness is you purchase critical illness, and if you are diagnosed with a critical illness, example, cancer, heart attack, stroke, so there are some of the big ones, there's various types of cancer. So if you diagnose with, but you need to take the critical insurance when you were healthy, preferably, because you may not qualify when you actually get a critical illness. So you take it early. Now, when you suffer from any one of those critical illnesses, or they usually call them the big five, when you suffer from any of those illnesses, you survive after 30 days of being diagnosed, then you will receive a lump sum. So that lump sum, you will get that lump sum
tax-free. So let's say you took a critical illness policy maybe to age 65, and you decided, well, you know, if I get sick, I need at least about 150,000 to see me through that sickness, to help me get back on my feet and help me get better. So you get that 150,000 tax-free. You receive it as a lump sum, and you can now use it for anything, either to get back on your feet, whatever bills you may be incurring personally, you can use it for that as well.
Wonderful.
Does that answer your question, Clara?
How the lump sum, who decides how much is a lump sum?
When you first purchase the insurance, you decide on how much it is you want. So you make that decision with your financial planner. So you will go through your cash flow and you decide what amount it is that you want. So obviously it will come at a cost. It will be determined by your age at the time and how much you need to, and how much you want to take. And then based on that premium, you'll decide, well, you know, this, I want to go ahead with that amount, and you decide on that lump sum. And that lump sum will be paid out to you by the insurance company.
What if you break a leg and you can't go into work for whatever reasons? Like,
if you break a leg, that won't be critical illness, that will be disability. So in the case of Darren, when he went to the hospital, he probably, you know, broke a leg, had a few bones, and then he can't perform his duties, then you have the disability insurance. That's why it's important as a business owner to have several types of insurance policies.
Okay, all right, that's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We have a few more questions. I'm actually going to ask three questions, and then we'll get to you, Rose. I see that you raised your hand. First, from Cynthia, we have, how much does it cost for a consultation with you?
Oh, it doesn't cost anything. You can book a 30-minute consultation with me at any time.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. No cost for that consultation.
No cost. Just send me an email, or you can just call me 647-286-3310, and you get a free 30-minute consultation.
Wonderful. We have next from Beverly. Can you speak about term life and whole life? Beverly has a term life that's tied to her mortgage. She says it's coming to an end, and she wants to know if she can roll this into whole life.
Okay. Yes, so depending on when you took that policy, there will be conversion privileges for that term life policy. So you can definitely roll it into a whole life. So the term, like you said, you took it, is tied to your mortgage. So hopefully you selected somebody as your beneficiary and not the bank as your beneficiary. So when that's one of the things I get very passionate as well, the difference between the mortgage insurance and the term insurance. But however, yes, so you can, the long and short is you can convert that term life into a whole life. So the term life would have been for a bigger amount, because term is like you renting a policy from a specific time, right? Maybe probably 20 years, 30 years, depending on your mortgage, if it is tied to your mortgage. And whole life is like the golden goose, we would say, of insurance. So basically, with the whole life, you covered for a certain amount, you know, and then most times you say, okay, I'll make payments for 20 years. But in the case of converting from the term to the whole life, the amount would be probably shrunk a little because of the policy premium and so on. So all these considerations are taken into it. And then you covered for life, right? So if anything with the term, like you say, it's coming to an end. With the whole life, you're covered for life until you pass away, and then your beneficiaries will reap the benefits of that.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Gisella. Next, we have a question. This question is actually from Lorraine, and her question is, when she comes to a financial advisor such as yourself, what information should she have on hand or bring with her, just in case, whether it's in face-to-face or virtual?
Right. So we do discovery conversation. So some of the things we ask you to bring would be your notice of assessment, if you have any other life insurance policies. If you're incorporated, we ask you to bring your certificate of incorporation. If you have any other investments out there, we ask you to bring that as well. So in the discovery conversation, one of the key things we also look at in the discovery conversations, we allow the business owner to speak about what their pains are. So yes, you bring in those documents, that we will use to analyze where it is you want to go. But then we also want to know, what are your pain points? What keeps you up at night? Right? So during that discovery conversation, we'll discover what will be best for your unique situation. Does that answer your question, Lorraine?
Wonderful. While we're waiting for Lorraine to chime in, we do have a question from Rose. Rose has her hand up. Rose, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My question is, you mentioned that for the critical illness, a person has to survive 30 days. I have two questions. One is, to what age does the policy cover? And second, do you sell any other that the wait is not 30 days? For the critical illness.
For the critical illness, okay. For the critical illness, that the 30 days is figured out by the insurance company. So that is their rule. From what I've seen, they all stipulate that you have to survive 30 days. And depending on the length of time, you can take out a T10 critical illness. You can take a critical illness policy to age 65. So or you can do like a T20 critical illness. So sometimes, like in the case of the mortgage, you figure, okay, well, I'll probably tie it to the mortgage, because if something happens to me and I still have that debt and I don't want to place my family in any undue hardship, so I will link it to the mortgage. So we'll probably do a term and then do a rider as a critical illness. So then it's tied to that, that debt as well, because you want to cover that debt. If you have young kids, they have to go off to, go off to college. You want to secure that amount while you, if anything happens to you. But I can go back and look to see if there's, from what I've seen so far, it's always if you survive 30 days, but I can take that away and see, and I can get back to you, Rose, to see if there's any. I haven't seen it, but it doesn't mean to say that it isn't out there.
Thank you for that answer. I'm actually going to give you a call. I will discuss that, but I will give you a call. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rose. Thanks.
So, Kimberly, may I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Thanks again, Gisella, for coming on board and sharing. I would like if you could elaborate a little more on the loss of revenue insurance for businesses, because we have got an area right now in Toronto where shops are just shutting down because of constructions and so on. And if you could elaborate as to what is covered, how could one cover themselves, for example, on a loss of revenue, and what are the things that would trigger an insurance company to say, yes, you have lost revenue because of, and therefore they will replace it.
Okay. So typically for a loss of revenue, in the case of if you got disabled, the insurance company would step in and say yes, or if you had a critical illness. With the pandemic, I know a lot of businesses wanted to apply for some of the loans and they were not eligible to apply for those. With insurance, you typically do not really see that. You have the creditors protection insurance, right? So if anything, if you became bankrupt, then you have that type of insurance it would be very difficult, I would have seen in the pandemic, to really use that insurance. But however, we had, if you have disability insurance or business overhead insurance, which I spoke about, keeping the lights on insurance. So then you get a specific amount to keep the lights on. So if businesses have business overhead insurance, that could help them out to tide things over.
So let me ask you more specific, because I know in other environments, you can actually buy insurance for business interruption due to, say, for example, what's happening in Little Jamaica now with the construction going on forever. Foot traffic has reduced to zero. People are losing, shutting down shops because could they have bought insurance that would have triggered, given what's happening to them in that part of the world right now? Is there that type of insurance they could have bought?
Yes, so that would be liability insurance. So the liability, but then that would be...
Isn't there specific insurance for loss of revenue? Not, I mean, I don't know the insurance company, but I know in the past, if I used to make $100,000 a year and something happened, there was a riot or something like that, or construction like happening in Little Jamaica, and I lost $70,000. I could have bought insurance that would have replaced that $70,000. Is there any such insurance anymore?
Not that I know of. That would most likely be tied if something happened to the business owner themselves and they protecting their income, which is like the disability insurance.
Oh, and the keyman insurance, okay.
Yes, yes. And then that would replace their loss of revenue, right? So they can continue to operate and still be viable, and their business will
so they could have bought keyman insurance that would probably recover some of the losses that
the keyman insurance. You could also tie it to that, because keyman would mostly works well, like if the person passes away. However, you could also tie it to like a loss of income as well. So you could use that key person insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, there are different riders that you could use. So you have the key person insurance, and you can add different riders that will protect your business income if anything happens.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone else have any questions? We have a few more minutes to take questions. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. I
have another question.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yes. Do you cover for startups, new businesses, because we have no history? I mean, do you extend that coverage?
Yes, it's extended to new businesses. Insurance companies will typically want you to have at least 3 years of business financials. However, for startups, it will be based on you. And then when the business starts running, then we can convert it to the company. So after the 3 years, we can convert it to the company, yes.
It'll be a personal insurance, then going to a corporate insurance.
And then going to corporate, that is right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I just saw something in the chat about business interruption insurance. I'm from the old school, so I was using the old jargon, but we do have business interruption insurance. That's what we have.
Okay, okay. That could be tied to the key person as a rider in case something happens to your business, yes.
Is it the same thing as income replacement? And second point is that I was trying to get one before the pandemic, just in case something like the pandemic happened. And it took me after 6 months of negotiation, they said I wasn't qualified. Yes. Interesting also is insurance to protect against data breach. Do you know much about that for companies?
No, in my practice, I don't really deal with that as much. but I'm sure it's out there. I think that would also go under the liability insurance as well. So that is something probably I will look into, but I don't think at the moment, because I'm with IG Wealth Management, but I'm also licensed with RBC, with Manulife, with Sun Life, Canada Life. So I haven't seen them offer those services, but that is something I can definitely take away and look into that.
Because I was submitting a bid for a government contract, and a major concern was that they needed, as a prerequisite, they needed to be able to provide protection, data breach protection, insurance. And it was difficult for me to get even a quote, understanding as or somebody to be able to undertake it, unless one of the things is that they're more quick to produce that kind of coverage if you were using an off-the-shelf application, but something that we developed ourselves. There was a lot of concerns there. I would really love to get some feedback on that, because there's another contract that I'm eyeing.
Gisella, we do have some feedback in chat. We have quite a few people, including Lorraine, advising that for that type of coverage that Earl is mentioning, it would be cyber insurance, and that covers hacks, breaches, external things out of your control. And Lorraine has advised that there are a few companies who you can work with to secure coverage, and she advised McLean, Hallmark Insurance Company, and it looks like Aviva. But maybe reach out to Lorraine. It looks like maybe she could provide some guidance as to where you can go, not help you, but at least point you in the direction. I see her shaking her head.
Yeah, I think Marsh Canada also provides this type of insurance. So I know with the E&O for the errors and omission, I have it with Marsh Canada Limited as well. So I'm sure Marsh would be able to provide the cyber insurance and all these different types of insurance.
And I'd just like to put my board member hat to see one of the reasons for the sessions we're having here, because most of the folks who are here should be in the BATES program, and folks like you are folks that they'll be working with as they require services. So it's important, and as we hear all of these comments, and so that between now and then, we try to come up with the solutions, because these are real challenges out there that real businesses are facing, and we have to have real solutions. So, you know, we'll certainly get information on the business interruption, the cybersecurity, all those stuff, because it's folks like Gisella here you're going to be talking to if you need insurance through the BATES program.
Oh yes, I can definitely provide them and steer them in the right direction when that time comes as well.
Lovely.
Yes.
Wonderful. So it looks like we have one more comment from Lorraine, then we'll wrap it up for today. Zen Insurance is also growing, and they are very affordable and can be attained online. I think Lorraine is referring to the cyber insurance. That's an option.
Yeah.
Well, it looks.
Go ahead. One sec, Kimberly, before you run. There is a insurance. There's a group. There's an association of Black insurance brokers. There is an association of Black insurance brokers. Probably you can send to the BBP. I would provide you with the links, but there is a group of Black insurance brokers, and one of the stuff we're trying to do in this ecosystem, if we don't have it, we might be able to bill it. So, you know, we'll probably work with those folks as well to see what is out there and how we can harness what is out there so we can benefit the Black space that we're working in.
Do we have the name of that group, the Association of Black Insurance Brokers, or is that the name?
Yeah, I think that's the name, Association of Black Insurance Brokers. I'll have to get the details at the president. I think I have the president number, not readily available here, but I can link it. But I think that's the name of the group, the Association of Black Insurance.
Would that be NAAIA?
Yeah, the Association of Black insurance brokers.
Yep. National African American Insurance Corporation, maybe? Maybe that's not it.
Well, we could start there, but I know they've been around for a while and they've had links with the BBP to establish an office space.
Oh, Black Insurance Brokers Association, maybe.
That's probably it, Kimberly.
Okay, I found it for you.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll post it in chat since you brought it up. Everyone's probably curious. Did we have one more comment before we wrap up?
I have a question, sorry.
Sure.
Can I go ahead? I had a question. When we mentioned whole of life and term, if the company you have the term life with is not does not offer whole of life, and I think in companies like Primerica, they do mostly term life. How do you convert your term life into whole of life?
In that case, you wouldn't be able. The term would just stop, and then you would have to take a whole life with another company. And then at that time, that would be based on your age and your health at the time. Yeah, I also have term with Primerica, and I also have whole life with another company because there's no conversion. Yeah.
I'm just going to add one thing, Jalessa, and that says, I sell living benefits insurance. I do the critical illness and disability. However, there is a bit wider umbrella in what I offer. So just letting everyone know that there are other options that gives you a bit more flexibility. And I will indeed add that information to Bates so that information can be out there.
Okay, thank you, Rose.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. Gisella, you have done a fantastic job today. We had question after question after question. Looks like everyone was really excited about the information that you shared. We would like for you, Gisella shared her information. Please be sure to follow up with her. And we will see you, if not on Saturday for Bates, we will see you next week.
Thank you.